I'll leave it, actually. You can respond if you want.
Let me ask you a question.
No, I'm good, actually. I just want people to know that.
Okay. So Calvin, if Christianity were true, you would not become a Christian then?
Maybe. I don't know.
If I gave you a book, would you read it?
Maybe.
Okay, well, doesn't seem like you're open, Calvin, but that's okay.
Okay, well, you said that you would ask atheists if Christianity was true, if they would be Christians. If atheism is true, would you be an atheist? Is my question.
Yeah, I would. The problem, though, is there's no way of showing that atheism is true.
Okay, so then my answer to the question that I know you have for me is, what if there is no way for me to actually know that Christianity is true? So the question is essentially like, you know, if the evidence that you present, or even the reasons that you present for Christianity being true are actually false, but Christianity is true, then how do you argue people should know, or people should be Christians in that case, right? So how do you argue that that just because something is true, people should believe it, or people will believe it, right? Which is kind of what the first thing you give, which is there is truth, right? This is what your whole argument is based on. Just because something is true doesn't mean we can know it, right? So people 1,000 years ago couldn't know that the universe had a beginning, right? Based on the reasons that you gave, which are based on scientific.
Well, first of all, I didn't give reasons from science. I just mentioned what the scientific.
Yeah, but you said that that's the reason.
That's one of the reasons. There's other reasons to believe the universe had a beginning as well. In fact, there was a great Muslim philosopher about 1,000 years ago who really came up with what's called the 𝗦𝗢𝗕𝗦𝗢𝗥𝗕𝗦 argument, and basically shows that time had to have a beginning. If time had to have a beginning, whatever created time must be timeless. But let me go back to what I said earlier, because I didn't complete the thought. The reason I say atheism can't be known to be true is because most atheists today are materialists. And the problem is, if atheists are materialists, everyone's I've debated are materialists, if there is no immaterial realm, that means every thought an atheist has and every thought we have, those thoughts are completely governed by the laws of physics. We're nothing but molecular machines or moist robots. If that's the case, we shouldn't believe anything we think, including the thought that atheism is true. Now, if there is an immaterial realm, and we do have minds and not just brains.
You made a jump. So you said that so you just said if our beliefs are all caused by material, then we have no reason to believe those things. But you just gave the reason, which is that there is a cause already. There's a material cause in that case.
But the material cause, if we're just governed by the laws of physics, we're not reasoning, we're just reacting. We can't follow the evidence where it leads. We can only do what physics tells us. Now,
can only follow the evidence where it leads in that case. So you've just made multiple jumps in all of your arguments where you take something, you say, for example, if there is a moral truth, right? If there's a moral truth, then it must come from God. But that already assumes that you believe all moral truths come from God to begin with. I just think that everybody in here is probably being led astray by you cutting to jokes, cutting to all kinds of stuff and saying, you know, this reason I just gave must be because this reason I already assume. I'll leave it, actually. You can respond if you want.
Let me ask you a question.
No, I'm good, actually. I just want people to know that.
Okay. So Calvin, if Christianity were true, you would not become a Christian then?
Maybe. I don't know.
If I gave you a book, would you read it?
Maybe.
Okay, well, doesn't seem like you're open, Calvin, but that's okay. Let me just say one other thing. Let me complete my thought before Calvin left, and that is the reason I said that you can't know if anything's true, if atheism is true, because we don't have minds, we just have brains, and we're governed by the laws of physics. And even atheists have admitted this. This is what Haldane said, who was an evolutionist and an atheist. He said, if my thought processes are completely governed by the laws of physics, just by the motions of atoms in my brain, then I have no reason for supposing that any of my beliefs are true, because it's just motions of atoms in our brains. Now, on the other hand, if we not only have a brain but a mind, then we can ascertain truths about the real world, and we can follow the evidence reliably where it is. If we can't do that, then we can't know anything is true. All right?